My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. Well, I don't know. I may have to do this tape over. Having problems. My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I said that. And I've got a lot of videos on here and I'm on Facebook. And I've been telling this for a long, long time about mind control murders and about my kidnapping. Let me say this real quick. I found out in '83 when I was in a U.S. congressional race that I had been kidnapped, and my real name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in '41, born in '39, and brought to Moulton, Alabama. It was a pigsty, that's all I can say. It was horrible. And given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, I married Childers, and both twins, Peggy and Carl, were dead. They'd been killed by their mother. They were born out of wedlock. Now then, that said, I've put this in other videos and everything, trying to explain mind control murders that were done in patterns, etc. And I had written a medical malpractice book in '77, '78 about Larry McDonald, who was a U.S. congressman and a doctor at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. And I was writing about mind control. What I simply want to address here is people, you can even look up mind control now on YouTube or Google it. They don't tell about them being done in patterns, but they certainly tell about mind control in MK Ultra. When I did my book, there wasn't that much said about mind control. And I had a really rough time, and that being said, I want to fast forward to now. I'm not going to get into the names and the deaths and all that at the moment. I want to get into that they have been modifying, when I say they, agencies, the federal agencies here in this country. MK Ultra was one that was mentioned that was before Congress in '53, had their hands slapped and turned loose. You think your congressman don't know about mind control, then you better elect some new ones. They're doing nothing about it, and I know many of the congressmen, and I know a couple of them kind of personally. I've been in their offices and talked with them, and I certainly know that they're very aware of it, and they're afraid of it, and the agency doing it. Now, so that I don't lose anyone, and I'm not going to bring out my pictures of my father and my kidnapping and all that, and my mother. But I want to say that, this has been going on, and it's so advanced, mind control. Back when I was telling about it, they put chips in people. You go to the dentist, and your dentist knew it, and if they were told to, they chipped you. Root canals, etc. One of the doctors that I worked for happened to be cardiovascular, and it was shown to me the insurance forms, and the person and her husband, Rusty, it was actually done to him, and he died. But I saw insurance forms, etc. This is after I left the doctor's office. I was doing the book then. But you can, in this case, he was head of a corporation, a huge one, and they put a chip in him, a heart bypass, and you can control his decision-making. His decision is really the one doing the mind control and programming without his knowledge. Now then, the murders, there's been so many murders done. You modify their behavior, you program them to go out and kill, like the Sandy Hook, like the Tucson, Arizona, the Aurora, Colorado, or Columbine. This goes way on back. This didn't just start yesterday. I started telling about it and knew about it long before '70, but I couldn't explain the mechanism used. I just knew the patterns. So now I want to say something that people get very disturbed. They're like, it's weird. I won't get into other reasons. I'm watching the Oscar Pistorius. Well, I don't really watch the trial. I can't. I know for sure that's a mind control murder. He's innocent victim. It could have been Reva, that shot him, and she would be on trial. They're both beautiful people. It doesn't mean you should prosecute him and put him through the hell. He's a decent young man. He's telling the truth. He really is. So now I want to say this. What if it was your son or your daughter or your husband or you that killed your kids by driving the car into the, well, you can drive it in the ocean or the lake or creek or whatever, like Susan Smith did in Carolina, or Mrs. Russell Yates, Andrea Yates in Houston. They killed her kids. I don't know that she's even aware. She was put in a mental hospital and she's been given psychotic drugs, just like the Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes. And here is what I'm going to say. People don't like to hear this. They don't like to believe it, and they tune it out. And it's like an FBI agent said to me. He yawned, and he said, you know what people do with what you're telling them? You bore them. He said it's only when they see how it affects them that they care. Now then, in 1984, an agent up there that, oddly enough, I remember my husband and he worked with my husband at Brown Engineering, but you didn't know he was an FBI. But he was retired in 1984, and I'm in Grottoes, Virginia. His last name was supposed to be Noe, N-O-E. But he used to come in the store there. I was kind of, after all that happened, the campaign and trying to write the book and finding about my name and my kidnapping, which is really why they did all this to me. They kidnapped me. The Kennedy was ambassador to Great Britain, and my own uncle became a party to it. The New World Order, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, etc. helped kidnap me and take down my father illegally. It was all illegal. But let me backtrack. That's why all this was happening. The book was kind of a sideline to it. But mind control, people they want somebody to pay for it, and they're afraid of the agency to confront them, the agencies that are doing it, because it's law enforcement, and it's the highest one as far up as you can go. And they've deliberately done these in patterns so you think that it's going to be told. But I don't know that. I'm 75 years old. I don't know that any of it's going to end well. You've got Elizabeth, who's the illegal monarch, and her son Charles, part of the New World Order. You've got the Clintons. You've got the Kennedys. You've got probably all the presidents. I hate to say Jimmy Carter because I don't know. But they were all Freemasons, Illuminati, the New World Order. Now then, I want to get to this, and I'm not going to go into all the other. To treat someone for mental illness when they're suffering from mind control is the most hideous thing you can ever hear of. Mind control the programming has to be stopped. What they're doing at a young age, and they've been doing it for a long time, is programming. It, in essence, deletes your personality or overrides it, and your behavior is totally changed to whatever the programmer wants it to be. Now then, your child can be like Aurora, Colorado, and he's really an innocent victim in it. He shot his mother. In real time, if he had his own personality and was acting under his own thought pattern and belief, he loved his mother very much, and he would never hurt her. So this is what's going on, and Susan Smith wouldn't have driven her kids into the river, and Andrea Yates would never have drowned her children. So this is what I'm telling you, and when you go to psychiatrists, if they don't know the difference, something is very wrong. Yet they do know, and it's been covered up, and now then, every time there's a shooting, or like the kid up there that had the knife in Pennsylvania just a couple of days ago, they tried to say he was mentally ill or something wrong. They usually call him deranged when it's mind control. And this kid, they finally said, had nothing in his past that would suggest that. Well, this is exactly what I'm telling you. Nowadays, any kind of trouble is attributed to mental illness when it's not. And to pay, when you